Hey everyone, I thought it would be fun to show you all my cookie supplies that I have. So you might think that I have like tons and tons of things, and I do kind of, but I've accumulated a lot of this over the years, so I thought it'd be fun to go through it. First off, I have tips. I have a collection of tips that I've used over the years. Some of them I barely use, but I also do use them for buttercream as well when I do cakes, which is not very often. But it's nice to have these bigger tips, these open star tips. And those are fun for doing like cupcakes or doing rosettes with royal icing even. Petal tips are very popular as well, so you can do flowers. If you're going to invest in tips, I would mostly do those types. I don't really use my round tips as much anymore. I started out using tips with my bags when I started cookies. I didn't realize tipless bags were a thing, and so I thought it would help with my writing and so on. But I've realized that it's much easier to use tipless bags, so I don't use these as much unless I'm doing florals or if I'm working with buttercream on cakes and things like that. But it's always a nice little collection to have. I have all different sizes, as you can see, and all different shapes. Some work better than others. Some are Wilton, some are PME, some are different brands. I kind of have collected over the years at either cake supply stores when I go browsing or at Michael's and places like that. And next up, we have my tipless bags here. Now again, I kind of am not necessarily only on one brand. I find most of them are relatively the same. Some are a little bit thicker, some a little thinner, but most of them that are listed as tipless bags work well. And I usually tend to order more from the stores that I'm buying supplies because I usually order online. So if I, don't need any supplies, they'll come straight from Amazon. And if I'm getting supplies, I'll always check if that place sells tipless bags, and I'll just order some with it because it just saves on shipping and makes it more cost effective. And so here I have my little bucket of all my colors and my gold here. I usually keep my gold in a Ziploc bag because you can see it's messy, it kind of spills sometimes. So this is a great way to keep it nice and clean. And usually my colors are nicely organized, but they do get shaken up there a little bit. But these are my most used colors. As you can see, they have spills on them or their caps are not clean. So I usually go with Maricolor, and I try to get the colors that I use the most often in bigger bottles, but the ones that are kind of not so often, I'll use these smaller bottles. I have a couple duplicates, and I try to keep track of the colors that I really like that worked well for me, so that I order more of them and always have them on hand. And then I keep them here so that they're all in the same spot. And I also have some edible markers. These are the food art pens. They work really great. I do use a different one for black, but for the color ones, they're great to have, for small little details. And then I also have like the bigger bottles for my Airbrush Colors. And then I do have red, green, blue, yellow in the bigger bottles, the gel colors, because I go through those a lot faster and it's a lot more cost effective to buy the bigger bottles than keep buying the smaller bottles. I also have some Chef Master colors. I was actually gifted a little set from them, like a set of 12 of them. And it's good to have as well. I find they work very similar to the Maricolor. I haven't gotten to these yet because I do want to use my older colors first, and then I'll get onto these. They're much cleaner, as you can see, but I find they're very similar shades to Maricolor. They work really similar, so I don't really have a preference. It's more what's more available at the stores that I shop at or online where I shop, and what is cheaper. Usually that's what I go with. There's a few brands, if I hear, somebody has a really good red or a really good navy blue, then I tend to buy a specific color in that. But other than that, these two general brands are pretty good for colors. And then I have my heat sealer. I just bought it off Amazon. I have a whole video on heat sealing and how I use my heat sealer. Because again, I didn't know any of this before I started cookies, and then you see things and hear things. And you know what? It makes life a lot easier, especially when you're packaging up cookies. I like to do it individually or treat bags. Keeps them fresh. And especially during this time, it's good to have everything individually packaged. So it really comes in handy and it's not too expensive. And then I have all my brushes. I have all different sizes. I've kind of compiled again throughout the years if I need a thinner one, thicker one. The thicker ones are usually, or bigger ones are usually for when I have texture I want to make. The thinner ones, the smaller ones are usually for my gold detail where I paint on. And then I have some like the, kids brushes that I would use for paint your own cookies type thing. These are just bought at either cake supply stores or like at Michael's or something. Give them a good wash. Only used for cookies. They stay with my cake supplies or my cookie supplies. And then we have some sprinkles, of course. I don't use sprinkles too often on cookies. I have smaller children, and a lot of people that I used to make cookies for had smaller children. So I tried to stay away from, the bigger hard sprinkles, just as choking hazards and things like that. So like these type of balls. So I tend to go with the smaller sprinkles. And then I have a lot of Christmas sprinkles left over. Just a side note, these little balls, I love them, but they get everywhere. So if you're ever getting bulk sprinkles, it's better to get, I guess they're called the jimmies, or like the long kind of ones instead of the little balls, because they just go, if you spill a little bit, they'll just bounce away and you won't find them again. But I do have a few here. I've gotten rid of some of them that were older, but yeah, I don't use them too much, but they're fun to have, and I always have sprinkles on hand. So if we ever make pancakes for the family or cupcakes or cookies, it's always great to have a few little sprinkles for the kids to put on there. And then here I have my projector. I usually keep everything in a box just to make it easier to find. And again, I have a video all on this if you want to know what it's all about. So I just keep my projector, my stand, all my cords in here so that I can easily find it when I need it. And here we have some of my cookie cutters. So this is what I started off with. It was a Wilton box of 101 cutters, and it was pretty cheap. I think I had a coupon from Michael's, and you basically have all the holidays covered, and you have some extra like nice shapes and numbers and letters. So it's kind of a great box to start with. And then I've also, over the years accumulated a lot of cookie cutters. Some of them you can see are like different colors. Those are the 3D printed ones. A lot of people sell them now, and you basically can make them custom, or they have custom designs that they sell. So these are great. Some of them are better quality than others. They do, they're not dishwasher safe. You can't put them in hot water because they can melt or break. So you do have to be gentle with them. Some are stronger than others, like I said. And so you have to be careful with the ones that aren't so strong. I've had a couple sort of break the edges on me, but overall they've been pretty good. And then I have my metal cutters, which I absolutely love. They cut the dough really, really clean. They're sharp and they're thin, so they work really well. Ann Clark has some great cookie cutters, and they're such good quality. But I also have others. And every time I go to get supplies like color or something else, I'll always browse through like their cookie cutters and just cheaper things that I could pick up that I might need or want to have, and just add them to my basket to save on shipping. I also have these ones. I love word cutter cookies. These ones I usually keep the little card that comes with them in a bag, so that I know I use it with my projector, so I can write on the cookie and I know the picture I need. Because if I lose that card, it's kind of a pain. You got to go find it on the website and take a screenshot. So this way it keeps it organized. It looks like a lot of cutters, but sort of, I don't use maybe half of them, I guess. But sometimes it was for specific orders I needed and I didn't want to hand cut them. And lots of them are plaques as well that I've used so many times. So I usually have my favorite ones that I've used. And then, now that I don't do orders as many, I don't really buy as many cutters. But it was mostly accumulated over when I was selling cookies and had specific orders to do. And lastly, this is my airbrush machine. I haven't done much airbrushing lately, but a lot of people love it or hate it. I kind of got it in the beginning because I thought I would use it so much more with stencils and, adding effects to the edge of cookies. But it's kind of a little bit loud. So when I would do cookies at night, it would wake up people. And so I didn't want to use it too much. And, sometimes it's just the pain to bring it out and do a little section just to put it back. But I definitely do want to use it more because it's been a while and it is fun to use. And that's it. That's my, cookie collection. It seems large now that I look at it all together, but it's bought over years and years of me making cookies and even cakes. I've had stuff for a long, long time. So I hope that gives you an insight of you don't need the latest and greatest. You don't have to spend money on everything right away. Just a few things to get you started. And eventually, you'll have a good, decent collection, but you don't need to spend, hundreds and thousands right off the bat. Thank you guys for watching as always. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Happy baking!